Hey, hi, and howdy, sweet friends. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you're new. I am Courtney. I recently started a journey on the Mediterranean diet, and I am sharing that every Sunday. Here's some of the things that I have cooked for myself throughout the week. My family's not doing it. It's just me. I share what I cook for my family on Saturdays if you're interested in those meals as well. I try to stick to more budget-friendly things and things that are pretty simple. All right, let's dive in. This week I am sharing 2 breakfasty type items and 1 big meal. So we're going to kick it off with smoothies. I love these. Like, I could drink this every day. I sometimes drink this as a breakfast, and sometimes I drink it as a lunch if I've been fasting throughout the morning. I will double it up like I'm doing today. I had this for lunch. I didn't have any breakfast. So I've got 2 bananas. I have 1 date that I soaked in hot water for about 10 minutes just to make it softer. And then I put in about 3/4 of a cup of some frozen blueberries that I thawed a little bit so that my blender would blend them a little better. And that is all natural ground in store peanut butter there. I'm going to put in about a hefty tablespoon of it. I really love some peanut butter, y'all. I really, really do. You can add more or less. You could add the PB2 powder as well. That might be a great option. I just don't have any. And then I'm going to add in about 3/4 of a cup of apple juice. I try to get like natural organic apple juices. But if not, just use what you can get. Apple juice is full of fiber. Even though there's a lot of sugar in it, it's full of fiber and it still has lots of vitamins in it. So that's all that you have to put in there. Just let it blend until it's nice and smooth. And the blueberries make it this beautiful, vibrant purple color. Now, you could also add in some spinach if you want to. On occasion, I do. It's not my favorite, but I do. It doesn't really alter the taste. Just something about it I don't love as much. But I do like the health benefits of spinach, but I'm completely out. So we're just going to do the fruit smoothie today. And this will fill you up. It really, really, really will. I had this for lunch this day, and I was great until dinner time. My stomach was full, and I love the taste. It's sweet from the date and just really kind of, I don't know, it's just nice. All right, overnight oats. These are definitely for me a staple. I love these. I'm going to start off by making a chia pudding. Chia seeds are high in fiber and some other things. I think it's like omega-3s or something. They're really good for you. So I put about a tablespoon into this little bowl. And to that, I'm going to add some regular oats. You can add steel cut oats or plain oats. I'm using plain oats today, but sometimes I do a combo with some steel cut oats. And sometimes I'll throw just like some ground up flaxseed or bran in there if I have some. On this particular day, I just kept it really simple with the oats. And I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of cinnamon and let that all kind of come together, stirred around. Cinnamon is not fond of mixing into liquids. So if you can get it to cover those oats first, it'll mix in a little bit better. And I try to stay away from dairy as much as I can just because my body does not love it. So I'm using this coconut milk because I love the flavor of coconut. This one has a little bit of natural sweetness to it from the coconut itself because coconut is naturally sweet on its own. So it has a really great flavor. I don't add any sugars in here. I just let the coconut milk bring the sweetness to the table. But if you were using like soy milk or almond milk that's completely unsweetened, you could always throw in a little bit of honey or maple syrup or even a little bit of brown sugar if you want to. And just let this set overnight. The chia seeds really thicken it into a pudding and you get this really nice thick dish. And it's very filling. I really, really like these oats quite a bit. They really just hit the spot for me. The last thing is caponata. I made this and I ate this for dinner like 4 nights in a row, maybe 5. I can't remember. Because I'm the only one in the house doing this diet. Oftentimes I will just make one big dish and eat on it for a couple of days. I just find that to be the easiest way for me to approach this diet. And I'm pretty content with meal prepping like that. Sometimes I'll meal prep something for lunch throughout the week and something for dinner. Sometimes I'll have 2 dinners. It just really depends on how things are looking. But I'm fine just cooking myself one big dish and eating on it for a couple of days. And this one was so amazing. I'm going to link the original recipe, but I did kind of like vary from it a little bit. If you are familiar with my channel, then you know that's just something I do. I cook with what I have. I cook with what I like. That's how I roll in the kitchen. So I'm starting off by peeling this eggplant. I love eggplant. Like, I can't stress that enough. I absolutely adore eggplant. I think it's got a beautiful flavor. It's just kind of deep and rich, and I love it so much. You do not have to peel it. The skin is 100% edible. I just don't love the texture of it, so I'm peeling it. And obviously, I need a new vegetable peeler. Mine is a little bit dull, as you can tell from the struggle that I had there. But I am peeling it. Again, you do you. You don't have to. Once that's done, I'm just going to go ahead and chop it up. When you're getting eggplant, try to get some of the smaller ones. The bigger ones tend to have more seeds in them. and they are a bit more on the bitter side. As you can see, there's not very many seeds in here. Some people will say take out the seeds. They don't bother me. I've never seeded an eggplant in my whole life, and I love eggplant. I do eat it fairly often. So I guess if you're really picky about it, go ahead and take them out. They're supposed to make it more bitter. I just try to carefully pick eggplants that would probably have fewer seeds in them. So I'm doing a pretty good sized chop on this. This is like the meat of the dish, if you know what I mean. This is a vegetarian dish. Not to say you couldn't put any meat in it. If you wanted to, you totally could. The original recipe does not have any meat in it, and I'm mostly following that. But I think this would pair great with shrimp, in all fairness, and probably some fish. If you didn't want to put it on pasta, I could totally see this on top of a big piece of cod or something. I think it'd be really, really good. Once I've diced up this entire eggplant, we're going to get to cooking it. Now, some people say you need to salt an eggplant and let it drain first. I'm not one of those people. So into my skillet, I put a little bit of my homemade garlic oil. I make my own confit garlic, and a side product of that is garlic oil. That video is always linked in the description box below. I highly recommend it because it's so easy to make, and I think it tastes fabulous. The garlic is like having roasted garlic on hand all the time, and the garlic oil is like rich in garlic flavor. I just use avocado oil as my base. So if you weren't going to use garlic oil, go ahead and just throw some avocado or olive oil in here and get your eggplant going with a little bit of onion. I did about half an onion because, again, it's just one eggplant and it's a small one, and I'm the only person eating this, so I am making this a little bit on the smaller side. But in all fairness, it did serve, I think, 4 solid servings. So next I'm going to add some broth. I'm using this mushroom broth. It's got clean ingredients. There's like no chemicals or processed stuff in it. I really, really like it, and the flavor is just absolutely amazing. So I just kind of put a little bit in there just to get the cooking process going. So the eggplant will cook on its own in the oil a little bit, but having a little bit of moisture to steam it and move it along helps. And I did add a little bit of salt in there as well to help pull some of the extra moisture out. And it took about 10 minutes to get to this point. And then I went ahead and threw in some olives. I had like 4 Kalamata olives left, so I diced those and threw them in. Then I'm using Castelvetrano olives. I think I said that right, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong down below in the comments. They're like a really mild green olive. It's not nearly as briny and potent as a Kalamata or a regular Spanish olive. And I also threw in about a tablespoon of minced capers. We're really looking for that bright, vibrant vinegar burst from some of these, but I love these Castelvetrano olives. They have a little bit of the brine flavor, and they have like a really buttery texture to them. There's something about them that's real nice, and I like it. So once I added those bright flavors in, I threw in a little bit more broth, and then I tossed in some grape tomatoes. You could dice up tomatoes. You could use canned tomatoes if you want. I am a big fan, especially during the summer, of cooking with fresh tomatoes like this. They get super sweet and super delicious, and the flavor just cannot be duplicated from a can. But if you've got canned stuff on hand, use it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm sure in the future I'll be making this with canned products as well. I just happen to have the tomatoes on hand right now. So you want to add a little bit of broth, enough broth to kind of just barely coat the bottom of the pan, and let everybody start to cook. And this will let the tomatoes warm up on the inside so that we can make them burst in a minute. I had some mushrooms. I love mushrooms. These were cooked. I just cook them and keep them on hand and throw them in things throughout the week, maybe an omelet. Sometimes I eat them all by themselves because I'm a big lover of mushrooms. I just cook them with some olive oil, garlic powder, and salt. That's it. So I threw those in for a little extra meatiness. Now my tomatoes are done, and as you can see, I prefer the knife method. I stab them. If you want to just mash them with your spoon, that's fine, but they're like full of lava, okay? So when you mash them, the juice on the inside will squirt out, and it is so hot, it will burn you. If you just poke them with the knife, it's less likely that you're going to have any of that liquid, just squirt out and burn you. So that's my personal recommendation, but you do what works for you. A lot of people are gamblers and risk takers, and if that's what you want to do, hey man, get your adrenaline rush however you want to. I threw in just a little bit more broth because my pan was looking pretty dry. At this point, I think we've probably used about 1.25 cups of broth in total. And I just want to let everybody continue to kind of simmer together now that the liquid is out of the tomatoes, just so that their juice can kind of mingle with everybody. This is not a thick, saucy sauce. It's just a really hearty veggie sauce, but there's enough liquid in it to coat some pasta, and it's super delicious. So I'm going to be using this whole wheat organic fusilli. I love this stuff. The texture's on point. It was beautiful. It held up so well, and that's what it looked like. I made a little caprese salad on the side, and this was one of my favorite things that I've ever made. I cannot recommend it enough. I'll link the original recipe down below so you guys can try it. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys on Tuesday for my grocery haul. Have a great weekend. Bye.